Hello everybody, this is Shocklings 1000 and Point of Duty, welcoming you to a brand new Let's Play series of a brand new video game series as well, might I add, that I've not actually done before on my channel. For those who probably not too sure what it might be, unless you've already seen the title of the video, all I can honestly say is, sit back, relax, put your feet up and let the wind cool you down like there's no tomorrow, because we are playing Kirby's Adventure for the Nintendo Wii, or if you're in America, it's called Kirby's Return to Dreamland. I've only successfully played this game one time, and as you can pretty much see here, kind of a little bit of a potential spoiler for the game. If you're playing the game like brand new, you got like a main story, and then eventually, if you feel the urge to challenge yourself, you can try and do the extra challenges, which is basically the main story all over again, but you don't really get as much hit points as you normally do. Here, I'm going to be starting a brand new file, but before I do that, I'm also going to go into file 1 real quick and show you that there's these areas here. We got the arena, scope shot, ninja dojo, which we'll go into detail at a later point. So, into the main story we go. Here in the land of Dreamland, you can see that Kirby stole King Dedede's cake while Meta Knight is reading a book, wondering what on earth they're doing. But they're just all having a nice, simple day until they discover this. A ship has appeared out of nowhere and is falling into pieces. That doesn't really sound like a good thing, to say the least, if I'm to be truthfully honest with you. But yeah, the characters here, as you all know, Kirby is the main character of the Kirby game. Meta Knight, as I already mentioned, is one in the cape. King Dedede is that penguin. And the guy on the right there, the screen right there, his name is Bandana Waddle Dee. These are characters that you can all equally play as if you're playing this as multiplayer. Or if you wanted to do an entire party of Kirbys, you'd have Pink Kirby, Orange Kirby, Blue Kirby, and Yellow Kirby, I believe. Yellow Kirby, of course, being the original color of Kirby, but it got changed to pink because Nintendo thought he was basically making a rip-off of Pac-Man. And this guy here obviously has found out that all of his ship parts has been destroyed and disappeared, and Kirby is showing the urge to help him out. And Meta Knight just making himself look like Batman. So we got to get some ores, which is the first task we got to do. So off we go. In case you're wondering, I don't know if you could actually skip this cutscene, but I didn't really want to skip it. It should really have like subtitles here to tell you what the characters are actually saying, but you can't really help that. Here we go, starting off with World 1, Cookie Country. We've unlocked stage 1, but I obviously want to show the main controls. You can actually do an infinite amount of floating with Kirby by holding down the 2 button. To exhale when in midair, press 1. If you hold 1 when on the ground, you can inhale. But if you shake the Wii Remote, you make that inhale more powerful. D-pad is just simply a case of holding up on the D-pad if you're pointing the Wii Remote in a vertical formation. So like up here, you're going this way and there. You can hold, make Kirby go down. Nothing involving with going up. You can press A to guard, and that's basically all I can honestly say. It does show you in stage 1, but I wanted to say it as ahead of time. And if you were playing this with multiple people, 4 players can join at any given time. Press any button on a synced Wii Remote for a quick join. Hold down minus for a quick quit. Join in a jiffy, leave in a flash. But the only problem is with the 4-player, you actually share lives in this game. And even worse, if Kirby, who is player 1, dies, then the whole party dies. You have to make sure to keep Kirby alive if you're playing multiplayer mode. Stars. They are obviously here for you to like basically grab like the Mario franchise where he's collecting coins. Collecting 100 of these will introduce you to a new life. But if you turn the game off and then back on again, the life counter will reset back to 0. Here we've inhaled an ability known as Sword Kirby. I'm not really a great Kirby player, so I don't really know all of the moves off by heart. But for those who are actually curious, don a green hat and take sword in hand. Spin slash. Do a sword dive as your finishing strike. It's all about the flourish. 1 to overhead slash. 1 with full health to sword beam. Kind of references a little something about Legend of Zelda now, doesn't it? 1 after overhead slash. Multi-sword attack. Dash and 1 drill stab. Dash and 1 in midair sword spin. 1 in midair chop and thrust. Down on the D-pad and 1 in midair is a down thrust. Up and 1 is an upward slash. Down and 1 during upward slash is a sword dive again. Hold 1 to set up a spin slash and then release to execute it. 1 underwater is an underwater spin. So basically there are certain abilities you can actually use when underwater. And then we've obviously got this here. You can add a Wii Remote. And also showing the Star Cutter parts. So yeah, that's the up and then down again. And there's the sword beam. The other enemy that you saw me kill, which is that guy, Sir Kibble. I don't know all the Kirby enemy names off by heart. He gives you another ability known as Cutter Kirby, which basically acts just like Sword Kirby, except you're basically throwing a boomerang. If you double tap one direction on the D-pad, you can actually make Kirby run, but he will always stop running if you either jump or fall. Well, if you like either jump, do an attack, or just simply stop moving. This guy here that I just killed, he gives you the ability of fire. And these platforms you can actually fall through by pressing down. And we have ourselves a key. We need to deliver this to basically a locked door, which is this. And immediately we are being shown our first gear, Energy Sphere. Energy spheres are scattered across the land. Try to find all of the hidden ones. There are some that I haven't actually gotten on that main profile that I showed you at the beginning of this video. But I'm not trying to 100% complete the game, to be truthfully honest. If you want to like discard your ability at any given time, just press the minus button. And then you can recollect it at any given time, as long as you are able to get it before it's discarded itself. These are obviously, as you recall, Waddle Dees, because I mentioned Bandana Waddle Dee. There are some occasions where you might actually find food in the stage. The food is basically there to heal off your health if you've ever taken any damage. There are mighty tonic drinks that actually do give you a lot of health recovery, but the food that's like cherries, bananas, donuts, or cake, they kind of vary between either 25% of your health or less. There is one other piece of food that you can... Oh! Just what I was about to say, there's one other piece of food that you can basically find, but I'm not going to go over until we've actually found it. This is kind of like the sword ability, but Ultra Sword! Packing pure destructive power is a super ability. Its name, Ultra Sword. It can rend the earth as it destroys all in its path. Just press the 1 button to use the Ultra Sword. The sword changes each time you swing, but you are limited to the number of times you can use this ability. Here's the first one, the Ultra Sword. You can have other kinds of styles like that, or you can have different kinds of swords pop up, like it can like a bamboo like sword that you normally see in like candlesticks or somewhat that you see in wrestling. You've also got a butcher's knife, like Chef Kawasaki normally would have. And very rarely, you can see... Oh, there's a pirate sword right there. But one more you can find, and it is very rare. There is a chance where you will get to use Meta Knight Sword. Whenever you have one of these ultra abilities, there will be a chance that there will be a warp star here. When you go in the warp star, your ultra ability will be discarded. And you have to have a race against time against this little purple thing that's actually supposed to like crush you. You can shoot enemies back at the wall, but the bigger the star, the more it will send it back. But as a heads up, don't do what I just did there. If you actually die, you get sent out, but you can go back in. Definitely something of an interesting note to make out. I'm just going to ignore the enemies here because it's just basically race to the end without getting crushed. Consider it like an auto-scrolling stage, except it's not an auto-scrolling stage. The purple wall will always be right behind you. So just ignore anything in your path and you should be as good as gold. It does actually reteach you the abilities that you probably might have forgotten. So just keep as a heads up in mind. There is actually one other move I actually didn't really go over, but we don't have the right ability to do it right here, right now. So we get to this door, make our way in, and now I can show it. If you hold down and then press the 2 button, Kirby can do a little sliding attack. This can be really helpful when you're going down tight, narrow spaces that require destroying a block. Right, we've seen sword. Now I'm going to show you Fire Kirby. Feel the heat of hot flame techniques. Light fuses, climb walls, fireball climb, and if you're on fire, it's fireball inferno time. Just hold the 1 button to fire breath, and pointing any direction on the D-pad will target where the flamethrower will go. If you hold the flame closer to you, you will turn into a fireball inferno. Keyword in fact this. If you dash and also press the 1 button, you'll turn into a fireball and just flare all over the place. 1 during burn introduces a burning flame. 1 in midair is a spinning fire breath. Down a 1 in midair, fireball spin. Hit ground during fireball spin, fireball roll. Touch wall during fireball spin or roll, you can use the fireball climb. To be honest, I don't really do those sorts of moves a lot. But here, we have a boss! The Spear Doomer! All you gotta do is just basically continuously attack him to, well, basically end his life. But you only find these enemies in these ultra dimensions. There are certain attacks that you can inhale and take their ability. But once you defeated them, you get 2 energy spheres. And here's the item I was telling you about. No matter how much damage you've taken, this will fully heal all damage you've taken. This is known as a Maxim Tomato. Kirby's favorite food, as I can say the least. And now that we completed that ultra dimension, we can no longer go back there. There is the end gate, but sometimes you might actually discover secrets before going to the end. Oh, also, whenever you fall from a great height, sometimes you see Kirby doing that. If you don't want him to do that, hold down and he will just land on his feet without doing a barrel roll. Here's the goal game. You basically have to press 2 at the right given time to try and get high in the clouds. If you get to number 1, you'll be given 30 stars and basically health recovery, maybe a life even. If you land on the 2nd tier, you get 15 stars and nothing else. The lower the tier you go, the less stars you get. It's all based on timing. I've never successfully gotten the 1 in that ever, but you might have done, and whichever the case. So now we've gone through stage 1, I'm going to call things an end for this episode. Next time on Kirby's Adventure for the Nintendo Wii, we are going to stage 2 of Cookie Country. See you guys then.